Have you ever noticed how some people just seem totally immune to the chaos around them?
Oh, absolutely. Like nothing phases them at all.
Right. Markets crash, rumors fly, and they just stay completely grounded. Well, today we are taking a deep dive into an ancient text that actually claims to hold the blueprint for that kind of unshakable life.
Yeah, it's Psalm 15 from the English Standard Version of the Bible. It's attributed as a Psalm of David.
And it is really short, like only 5 verses long.
Yeah.
But our mission today is to decode what it actually demands of you. Because I mean, it has these hyper-specific rules, right?
Right, rules that still apply thousands of years later. And the text actually opens with these two massive questions. It asks, O Lord, who shall sojourn in your tent? And then who shall dwell on your holy hill?
Okay, let me stop you right there, because that imagery feels, I don't know, a bit contradictory.
How so?
Well, sojourning in a tent, I mean, that implies you are highly mobile, like you're just passing through.
Right, yeah.
But dwelling on a holy hill sounds like a literal fortress. So why pair temporary camping with permanent security? And honestly, isn't the holy hill just, ancient poetic code for the afterlife?
It's super easy to read it that way, but the tension between those two images is actually very intentional for the present moment. I mean, a tent represents vulnerability. It's the dusty, everyday journey.
Okay, bad track of that.
But the holy hill, that represents ultimate security. It's the divine presence. So the text is arguing that the requirements for walking the unpredictable road of everyday life are exactly the same requirements for permanent stability.
Wow, okay, so it is blending the cosmic with the daily grind.
Exactly.
But what does that actually look like in practice? Because the text gives us these interpersonal rules, like walking blamelessly and doing no evil to a neighbor.
Right, the practical behavioral stuff.
Yeah, but there's this one phrase that really catches my attention. It says, this person speaks truth in his heart.
That is a really fascinating line.
It feels like a paradox to me, because isn't truth something you speak to other people? Like, how do you speak truth in your own heart?
Well, you have to remember that in the ancient Near East, the heart wasn't just seen as the seat of emotion, like we view it today.
Oh, really? What was it then?
It was basically the command center. It housed your intellect, your logic, and your willpower.
Ah, I see.
So speaking truth in your heart actually means dismantling your own self-deception. I mean, if you are constantly rationalizing bad behavior or feeding yourself comfortable illusions, your outward actions are built on a really fragile foundation.
That makes a lot of sense. So true integrity is an inside job long before it ever reaches your mouth.
Exactly.
Which honestly makes the next requirement about the tongue make so much more sense. It specifically calls out not taking up reproach or slander against a friend.
Right, because if the heart is the command center, then slander is the outward failure of that whole system.
Because I got the symptom of the rot inside.
It is the outward failure, yeah. And we really have to look at why slander was viewed as so destructive back then. In any tight-knit community, trust is, well, it's the primary infrastructure.
Right. It holds everything together.
Exactly. So when you spread rumors, you aren't just hurting one person. You are actually eroding the baseline reality that the entire community relies on. You introduce rot into the system.
You're introducing a virus. But, it's one thing to have internal integrity or, keep your gossip in check. The real test is when that integrity actually starts costing you money.
Oh, definitely. That is where it gets hard.
The text says the person who makes it onto this hill is one who swears to his own hurt and does not change. I mean, that seems like a crazy high bar for human nature.
It really is. It basically demands that your word is far more valuable than your comfort or your profit margin.
It makes me think of, signing a business contract.
Yeah.
And then 6 months later, the market totally shifts, and suddenly it's a massive financial loss for you.
Right, and the modern impulse there is to just find a legal loophole to get out of it.
Exactly. But here, you are expected to just absorb that pain.
You are. And it was even more severe in the ancient world. You couldn't just file for corporate bankruptcy and start over.
Oh, well. Yeah, that's true.
So by choosing to honor a really painful commitment, you prove to the community that you are a safe harbor, which, explains the logical leap to the very next requirement in the text.
Wait, which one is that?
It's banning the practice of putting money out at interest or taking a bribe against the innocent.
Okay, so no loan sharking.
Mm-hmm.
But taking interest is literally the backbone of modern finance.
Yeah.
Why was it considered so damaging to them?
Well, think about an ancient agrarian society. Nobody took out a loan to start a tech company or buy a vacation home.
Right, they were just trying to survive.
Exactly. If a neighbor asked for money, it meant their crops had failed or their family was literally starving. So charging interest meant you were looking at your neighbor's catastrophe and seeing a business opportunity.
Oh, man. That is dark when you frame it like that.
It is. Banning it ensured that you didn't use your financial leverage to crush the vulnerable people around you.
It's sort of the ancient equivalent of not using your position to squeeze a desperate coworker who is already drowning in mistakes. Like, you choose to protect them instead of capitalizing on their weakness.
Spot on. And when you string all these difficult choices together, you know, radical self-honesty, protecting community trust, taking financial hits to keep your word, the text gives this incredible final guarantee.
He who does these things shall never be moved.
Exactly.
Which is wild because the ultimate reward here isn't wealth or political dominance. It is just absolute stability. In a world where everything feels chaotic, the person living this way becomes entirely unshakable.
It's a pretty profound promise.
It really is. So here is a final thought to leave you with as you go about your day. If achieving that unshakable life means swearing to your own hurt when a promise becomes painful and willingly giving up your leverage over others, which of these ancient standards would be the absolute hardest for you to practice today?